Hey Gilbert, what's the deal with the Riparian Preserve at Water Ranch? Welcome to another episode of Go To Gilbert. I'm Rob Hundley with the AZ Realty by Rob team from Chaim Real Estate. Welcome to today's episode. If you are already a subscriber to my channel, great. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe and tap the bell icon. I post lots of content about real estate do's and don'ts, and also about what it's like to live in this beautiful, wonderful town of Gilbert that we live in. So I'm here today with Kellie Elliott. Kellie, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Arizona. I grew up in South Scottsdale, and I went to ASU for conservation biology. And I've actually worked for the town now for 6 years, but I've recently taken on this position here at the park.
Well, and tell us a little bit about your position. I think it is fascinating. You're the town of Gilbert Naturalist, right?
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
the town naturalist, which mostly means that I oversee the Riparian Preserve here. I work for the Parks and Recreation Department, so I oversee all of our programming here at the park and kind of all of our operations in the interest of the wildlife and plants.
Fantastic. This is, if you've not been to the Riparian Preserve, oh my gosh, you guys have to get out here. It's like this bird haven. There are birds, like they're kind of like massing. They don't attack, do they? They're all over the place. It's amazing. Tell us a little bit about the history. How did this place come to be?
Yeah, so the Riparian Preserve is both a wildlife sanctuary and a water reclamation facility. So the water that is behind us is all water that has been treated at the wastewater treatment plant, and then we put it out into these ponds to create habitat, and then to also let it go down into our groundwater to use it in the future. So the whole concept came about in the early 90s. In 1980, the state decided that all cities that were using groundwater needed to also put water back into the groundwater. So they have a lot of options for how to do that, but Gilbert decided that they would kind of have like this revolutionary idea where they came up with a park that could be used by people and by animals, and by planting all of these native plants around the ponds. We kind of made this sanctuary type area while making also trails for people to enjoy, and kind of just made a facility that's different than any other kind of facility. It's a collaboration between Public Works and Parks and Recreation to create a recreation facility and this operations where we are putting water back in to store for our future.
That is amazing. Yeah, I've never seen any other park like this. And it's surprising because you're out, obviously, in the desert. And yet in this park, there are, 8, 9 ponds?
So we have 7 ponds that kind of circle around, and all of the trails go in between those 7 ponds. And then we have the fishing lake, which is more of a recreation lake.
Okay.
Doesn't perform the same function.
Okay, yeah, it's just incredible. And again, it is home to, I don't know what the exact number is, probably close to a gazillion birds.
Yeah, I think it's about a gazillion. Yeah, there have been 324 species documented present on the preserve over the 20 years. So sorry, that was in 1998 or 1999. They opened the park. 1988, they were working on it, but 1999, the park opened. And it was on purpose that we put in all of these native plants and made it a riparian habitat. And so that riparian habitat is so precious in the desert that we've actually seen increasing numbers of species every year.
Wow. It is just amazing. I mean, there are all sorts. Tell us about some of the, if you were to come here to bird watch, when would be the best time to come, and what would some of the birds that you would probably see, and what might be a bird that you'd be lucky to see?
Yeah, so we always say the best time to go bird watching is early in the morning, which is probably why not everybody is a bird watcher. But so you can come out early in the morning, but if you come out later in the day, you can tell we're out here in the afternoon, and there are plenty of birds about. Early in the morning, you'll see your greatest diversity though, and some birds that you'll definitely see when you're around that might be kind of interesting would be our American American avocet. We're very lucky. We have a population that's around all year long. They're a stilted bird. They have an orange head during their breeding season, but a white head. So they're black and white with stilted. And we also have the black neck stilts. We have populations of both those birds that are kind of here year round, even though this is kind of out of their normal range. But for birds, if you provide what they need, they don't necessarily have a reason to migrate. So they have stuck around and they breed here because we have everything they need in their habitat. You also definitely see the house sparrows that you can hear right now. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
House sparrows are known for they like to be in human-made spaces. Around the duck pond over there, one thing that's really cool around the duck pond this time of year is we have some least bitterns that have been nesting there year after year, and they're nesting there right now. So that's kind of it's a small heron-like bird. But it's like about this big, except when it stretches out its neck, it's like this big. So that's an interesting bird. And really serious birders will come out looking for it and won't see it. And then someone who just came by for fun will just see him poking his head out. So they've been breeding over there. They're really lucky to see everybody. A lot of people know about our Rosie the roseate spoonbill. She kind of flew in a couple of years ago. She doesn't really belong in this zone, but the same thing. We have everything she needs to survive. So she can be seen in the different ponds from time to time. Again, a very maybe you'll see her, maybe you won't.
I'm going to commit a cardinal sin right now, and I'm going to turn my back to the camera because while we were setting up, I don't see him anymore. There was a white, would that be an egret? Yeah.
Those are around most of the year, all year round as well. We have great egrets and snowy egrets, probably some others from time to time, but those would be what you see. The great is great, big bird. And then the snowy egret looks very similar, but is just smaller.
Oh, nice. Well, like I said, if you haven't been out here yet, please come out. You don't even have to get up with the early birds. Sorry. You don't even have to do that. Just come out during the day. It's May now. We're in the middle part of the day. Yeah, it's warm, but in the shade, it's really very comfortable and cool. It's beautiful with all the trees, all the shade, and again, all the birds, all the wildlife. It's just fantastic.
And we have 4.5 miles of trail here in the park, and they're all tree covered. Almost every bit of it is tree covered, so it's a lot cooler than other places when you go walking.
Yeah, if you're hot somewhere, come over here. You'll be a little bit cooler. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. But before we go, Kellie, what do you like to do when you're not out here managing this beautiful, gorgeous place?
Yeah, I don't go out a lot, especially in the last 2 years. So I'm a big gardener, and I love to go to our local nurseries and planting. I love the new houseplant store, the Plant Bodega in Mesa. I'll give them a plug because I enjoy it very much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. And again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell icon to hear more about real estate do's and don'ts, but even more what we've got going on in this wonderful town of Gilbert. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye.